live. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I don't know what I would call this interview, but it's Hollyshorts love elevating female kick-ass filmmakers, women in film.
That
It is
works.
exciting to have you all here in one place, and I loved all of your films. I want to break it down a little bit with all of you. So the three films we're going to be talking about are August and Ebony, Survived By, and Carnivora, and they're all like very different from each other, but also are kind of tied together in some way when it comes to family. And
Mm.
I I love them all because they're so authentic and you can see, the heart that went into it, and the female characters are just so amazing. And so yeah, I thought we could start with you all like introducing yourselves and saying like how you contributed to these films, and we could start with top down. So, Katie, do you want to kick us off?
Okay. Hello, I'm KD Chalk. I am the writer, director, executive producer, and actress, not lead actress, of Survived By. In August and Ebony, I did some voiceover stuff, and on the day, I was a set costumer.
That's so great. Okay, Pinar.
Hello, I'm Pinar Binay. I was a producer on August and Ebony and Survived By, and I did whatever Nicole needed help with on Carnivora.
Okay, Nicole.
I'm Nicole Crespo. I was a producer on Carnivora and on Survived By.
Okay, and then Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim. I was the DP of Survive By and Carnivora, and I was the camera operator on August and Ebony.
That is so cool. So I'm very fascinated on how you all met and how you came together with your projects. I think what I love about filmmaking, it's a collaboration process, and to see women like holding each other up in each other's roles and making magic on screen is so exciting to me. So I don't know how you want to start, but maybe with KD, and then we'll work our way through everyone. But how did you meet? Like, how did these films come, to fruition? So yeah, let's kick off with KD.
So we all met in Project Involve. It's a what do I call it? I was going to say a group experiment.
Yeah.
So that's how it felt sometimes, like real world. But we're making movies. And we, on like the first few weeks, I came in with Survive By with the script already done. And I was like just looking for, I always, in anything that I create, I'm looking to work with women in front and behind the camera, and people of color. And so I feel like the three of them, I saw them and I was just like, hey guys, I have this script. It's kind of outside of the program, but I think you're gonna love it and we should all work together. And that's I feel like I led with that in meeting them. That was my whole goal in the program, was to just like have a coffee, have a date with everyone. But when I saw the three of them, I was like, I'm gonna pitch this short real quick because I think they're really dope and I would really like to work with them. Um, yeah.
Yeah. And Pinar, do you want to continue? I'm actually going to charge my computer, but I'm still in it. I'll be right back. But Pinar, do you want to talk about meeting everyone here?
So, like Katie said, we were all meeting each other, kind of, getting a temperature on each other. And then we found ourselves on set for Survive By, and we started working. And I was like, I never want to do this without them. From then on, we already had the other projects lined up, but it was less of a requirement, but more so us wanting to work together again because we felt like gravitated towards each other. So that's how it came to be that we just kept working on each other's projects and keep the support going.
Yeah.
And fun.
Yes.
Nicole?
Yeah, just to echo what they're saying, I think it was really unique that Katie came in with like the seventh outside of the short to be made, because Carnivora and August and Ebony are both part of the program. So we had a lot of support, but coming into those two already having done Survived By really brought us all like closer together and kind of gave us a unique scenario where we already spoke the language to each other going into the other ones. So it was really
Oh, that's so cool. That's amazing. And Kim?
Yeah, it was great. Katie, I think, was the first person that I spoke to in the fellowship at length. So it was great to kind of hop on board with Survive By. And then Pinar and Nicole were the producers, and I hadn't had a chance to meet with them early on, even before August and Ebony and Carnivora were chosen in the fellowship. So, like Nicole was saying, it kind of gave us the groundwork to really connect beforehand and have a solid foundation. So when we shot our fellowship films, we were easily able to show up for each other because that baseline was there. So it's great.
That's so great. And Katie, I love that you kind of, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of started this creativity process with your film Survive By. And it's such a unique film. In fact, my husband, he's a film critic. His name's Matt Fagerholm, and he's really loves Muppets and puppets and stuff. And he writes a lot about that, like puppet culture. And I think it's a beautiful thing how you incorporated that in your film. I don't know if you want to touch on that, and then maybe you guys can speak to how that film connected with you.
Well, I grew up watching all those scary Jim Henson movies, like Dark Crystal and I mean, Muppets Take Manhattan. It's not scary, but I thought it was just so fascinating to see puppets and Muppets in the real world. And I was like, what would it be like to have these really dramatic, heartfelt moments with a puppet in a close-up? And so I wanted to explore that. And also, when my father passed away in 2019, and during the pandemic, me and my husband moved in to my childhood home, which was, it unboxed so many things that I wasn't expecting. I was just thinking, oh, it's a free place to live, not that I was going to be unpacking childhood trauma. And so I'm sitting there and life started getting fun again when I found all these like old puppets and costumes and things that I used to play with as a kid, and just like really leaning into that inner child play really got me to typing and thinking like, wow, what would it be like to have those and to finish those conversations with my dad as a sock puppet, but it's my dad.
Love that. I think it's so creative, and I think grief is so important to capture on screen well, and I feel like it's not done authentically well enough, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna really like connect with that film.
I really hope so. I feel like our society has grief is just such a hard thing, and it's different for everyone, and it's different for every circumstance of death. And I feel like the more we explore it in filmmaking can help open us up as a society to talk about grief and death and grieving, times of our lives that are changing.
Yes.
I just see that as just so important for me as a human as I grow and evolve. And I can't be the only person. I can't be the only one
Oh, no, no. And I
that's
think this is
discovering.
so good the way that you put it together, especially with that little girl. She was so talented. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna be seeing more of her, I'm sure.
I
And
agree. She's such a
yeah,
star.
yeah, she's so great. And then Carnivore, my God, I like I love that film so much. Okay, I usually don't watch horror because it's something I'm like, I'm a cinephile. I need to watch it because if I don't, then that's like a whole big section of film that I'm leaving out. But to have a film like a horror film, like so like connected with deep with family and family roots and family stories and just the way there's so many like zombie films out there, and I hope I'm not giving like spoilers out by saying that, but I just the way that everything is unveiled and unpacked in that film is just I've never seen anything like it before, and it also just I was deeply connected with that. So I don't know if was it Nicole? Were you the director behind that film?
I produced on it, and Kim was our cinematographer. Yeah.
Okay, so can you two kind of talk to that film and how that connected with you and that story?
Yeah, I think similar to Survived By, it definitely dealing with trauma and family circumstance. I love to deal with like work in magical realism and kind of dipping
Yes.
my toe into some genre, into horror. So this one was exciting for me to work with the team specifically, and just in the program we kind of worked together to develop the script. So it was really amazing having all 30 of the fellows be able to kind of put their own little trauma points and family things, especially I think all families, but in Latino families, like who stays behind and the sacrifice you make. Our tagline kind of is like family can consume you, and in more
Yeah.
than one way. But it was just really amazing working with Kim and like the whole team, and bringing that story, which it definitely seems to touch people to life. Yeah.
Yeah. Kim?
For me, I second everything that Nicole just said. When I saw the pitch for the script from our director, I immediately thought of my mom because she's been caretaking for my grandma since I was a kid, and I've never had an awareness without my grandma present. So I was actually able to talk to her about, what was her experience like, and visually, find a through line there just so I could personally connect to the story as well. And I'd never shot a horror before, and I'm kind of like you where I don't want to leave horror out as a genre, and I really do enjoy it, but I'm easily frightened by things.
Yes.
So it was a fun challenge, and A plus team, and it was just a great experience all around. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so good. And then I want to talk about August and Ebony. That film I loved as well. And it's just so funny how different the genre elements are, but between the three. But I love how comedic and light it was, but it also touched on like real life things like what do you do when you're pregnant and there's more than one person involved, and that's I loved how that was represented on the screen because I feel like family dynamics are changing so much these days, and to have something represented with like a lesbian relationship and then this other situation. I mean, so I don't know if somebody wants to speak to the story. Pinar, I don't know if you want to touch on how you were involved with that film and maybe working with the actors because they all were really great, like that whole cast.
Happy to. So this was my first time producing comedy. And I don't know why I didn't do it before. I definitely want to do more of it because nothing like that sad experience. The actors brought so much to the characters and just like the lightheartedness you feel on set. Because our overall goal since like starting the idea, A. Cooper, our writer, our focus was to highlight joy and keep it lighthearted, just to provide people a new perspective where it might not be necessarily available before on like chosen family dynamics, especially around raising a kid. But this is stated in the film as well. What it comes down to is there's no such a thing as too much love. So it's all accepted and it's all welcome, just figuring out how to make it work. And we really felt that while we were doing the film as well. So it was really important that our actors, our crew, like everyone helping out, felt that it was a product of love and we were telling the same message that we wanted to get across. And just here and there, destroying a couple of takes because we couldn't hold our laughter in. So it was just a great experience to be around it, be on it, and now to share it with the audience.
Yeah, that's so great. And so I know Hollyshorts has already begun, and possibly I was looking for when each of the films were screening, but the schedule was kind of confusing to me. So I was curious, like, have your films screened yet? Are they going to be screening soon? Like, where are they at in the festival right now?
August Ebony screened last Sunday.
Oh, okay.
We got a chance to show it in front of the audience, and that was a beautiful experience.
Oh, that's so great. And then what about the other two?
Carnivora screens tomorrow the 15th at 2:30.
Okay, great. And then what about Survived by?
Survive By is on Saturday at 5 p.m.
Okay, so great. Yeah,
Wait,
I
it's
mean,
not on Saturday, it's on Friday? It's on Friday.
On Friday.
It's on a different time zone.
Guys, I'm
Well,
literally looking at my phone and it's telling me different things
say
because it
Saturday.
thinks I'm in different places.
I think that's the thing about short films. It's hard because it's all in like a different block, so you're like, where am I at? But that's good. I will get the details and the links so people can get tickets to this. I'm gonna get it up on our Cinema Femme site tomorrow. But a question I always ask in my interviews is, what do you hope people see in your film? And I know August and Ebony's already screened, right? So I guess, Pinar, you probably saw the reactions to people and their thoughts, but maybe, you could talk about that experience a little bit, and also for the rest of you, what you hope the audience sees in your film. Pinar, do you want to touch on that screening experience a little more?
I think for me, again, this is a quality of doing comedy as well, is you never know when they're gonna laugh. Because my favorite jokes are usually so different than the audience's. And you really see when you screen in front of a big audience what jokes land and like how they interact with it. Because in a movie theater too, that's the value in it. You hear it. So it was a good experience to see people, and me and the writer, we turned into each other like, that landed great.
That's so great. And Katie, do you want to speak to what you hope people see in your film?
Well, first off, I want everybody to see all of the cool things these three ladies contributed to the movie. Like it's my story, yeah, but the collaboration is really there. The things that like the loneliness and the lone man on the island that Kim created with the picture. I want y'all to see that. Like
Yeah.
Pinar and Nicole stepped in as like mini production designers when our production designer was like stuck on the road. with the flat tires. So there's like that whole scene, and even some of their ideas, because I wanted to shoot fire and all kinds of things that we can't do that. But they came up with great ideas that make the movie what it is. I feel like every crafts person left their beautiful mark on this film, and it's so intentional, it's so heartfelt, and everyone that worked on it really poured their heart into it. So I hope our audiences feel that love and that heart and that hope, and see a brighter future for themselves if they're also grieving.
Yeah, that's great. And Nicole and Kim, do you want to talk about Carnivora, what you hope people see in that film?
Yeah, I think it is a genre film, so I do want people to be a little scared.
Yes.
I think there's a few little moments, a little scared, a little disgusted at some stuff, but also maybe just walk away thinking about it, and kind of going home and thinking about how Kim mentioned, like, we all have our own unique scenarios around family, and just maybe thinking about that a little bit more deeply afterwards.
Yeah, that's great. And Kim?
Well, for August and Ebony, I know it's screened already, but I know it's going to screen again. And so when people see it, I hope people laugh when they see it. And for Survived By, I hope that people feel as emotional, as Katie was expressing, and as introspective about their own grief and, their own form of love. I hope that they reflect on that and have conversations around it. And then with Carnivora, once again, I hope that they leave the theater thinking about, oh my gosh, I was so scared, and oh, how does that reflect in my life with family? And because I shot all three, I hope they think it looked good.
Wow. I love that we have a female cinematographer here, because lately I've just been realizing that there needs to be more elevation of you women doing these like amazing DP jobs, and I think you did an amazing job, and I'm excited that we can be a platform to elevate your work. So thank you for that. Yeah, it's so great. Yeah, and then I wanted something I just thought of that I read in the press release Pinar put together. The two girls in Carnivora are sisters, right? They're actually, yeah, that's so cool. Like, was that really neat working with them and that dynamic?
Yeah, they were amazing. Carmela and Gigi Zumbado, and they're also from Miami, where I'm from, and our director's from. So there were a lot of like little connections. They went to school, the same school as our director as well. But it was really fun. And I think for them, they hadn't been able to work together as sisters. And they also brought things into our rehearsals that they wanted to portray, and it gave depth to the characters, because she was like, well, I would actually do this, and do it, girl, because that's like what they would do in real life. So it was really unique, and I don't know, Kim, what do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought it was fascinating that they had never worked together before, but you live with someone your whole life, and then you get to pour into them creatively. I wasn't as much a part of the rehearsal experiences, but on set, there is one scene in particular before the climax when they have a very heated exchange. And we did that a couple of times. And I remember them having a moment where they thought, wow, number one, how cathartic, but we've had a lifetime of practice of, yelling at each other. So I just thought that was so cool. And they've been really supportive as the film has made its rounds. So we love them, and we hope to work with them in the future.
Yeah, that's so great. And then my last question is, I mean, maybe this is a little premature, but I think you all are so talented, and I'm just really excited to follow whatever projects you're involved with next. Is there anything coming up beyond these films? And of course, we're focusing on these films, but anything that you can speak to that you're excited about that you're currently working on? And if you can't talk about it, that's fine too. I don't know if somebody wants to, we could just go through it again, KD.
I'm always going first.
I just-
I'm just joking with you, Rebecca. Um, I am gathering funds and grants and money for another coming of age film proof of concept feature, but it's leaning even more into the fantasy element with this one. It's called My Granny's Hands, and it's about a young girl who experiences trauma and she goes mute. She's forced to live with her grandmother, who unlocks a supernatural gift. And so I'm looking to shoot this in North Carolina on my grandparents' farm,
Wow.
which I'm really excited to do. And it all like came from this. When I was younger, I used to live with my grandmother mostly while my mom worked, and people would call if someone was badly burned, and she could talk the fire out of them. And as a kid, I didn't think of anything of it. But then when I started studying herbalism and indigenous herbalism, I started hearing more stories like this of these like folk healers. And I was like, wait, that's my family. And so once she passed away, again, grief is just like always fueling these stories. I came up with this whole idea in the midst of processing her leaving us and all of the things that I learned from her.
Wow. Wow. God, that sounds
And
amazing.
it's a feature too, which
Wow. Please stay in contact. I can't wait to see what comes of this. And Pinar, what's coming up for you?
Well, as you can see, I am very lucky to be surrounded by amazing creatives, and I feel like I built a really good group of people around myself who are constantly keeping me busy, which is great. So I'm just looking forward to what comes next from them and where do we work together again.
Oh, that's so great. Nicole?
I, like KD, am also fundraising for a few features. I have a feature with Annie Gonzalez and Christopher Rivas that we're hoping to go into production on. And then I have another genre short called Hive that's going to start festivals coming up soon.
Oh, that's great. And Kim, yes.
I'm in the midst of finishing a short. We just did, or we're working on color right now. I'm shooting another short with another fellow that we all, experienced together. That's going to shoot late September, early October, and also looking for a feature. So that's what's going on with me.
This is so great. Yeah, we'll have to do this all again sometimes. Please keep in touch with me. And I'm just so excited to, get the word out about these amazing 3 films and just to see what kick-ass women could do together when they get their creativity and, talents. It's exciting. So thank you for speaking with me. And I will get this up on our website soon.
thank you, Rebecca, and thank you for bringing the vibes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys have a great evening.